At first, it was just harmless curiosity. Karen had always been a little too eager to jump on new trends. Kale smoothies, essential oils, that weird period where she only ate foods that started with C, because some wellness guru said it would align her chakras. So when she started talking about crypto, I thought it was just another phase. She called it an investment in the future and swore it wasn't like her past obsessions. But then I noticed the small changes. At first, they were subtle. A second phone screen appeared at dinner, one dedicated solely to watching crypto charts move up and down in tiny, meaningless increments. She started refreshing her portfolio every 2 minutes, even in the middle of conversations, nodding absent-mindedly while my words bounced off her preoccupied brain. Our Netflix nights, once sacred, were abandoned because candle charts are more exciting than Stranger Things. She missed her own mother's birthday dinner because she was too busy tracking market sentiment on a Twitter space hosted by a guy named CryptoBald69. Then she stopped cooking altogether. When I asked why she hadn't made dinner for the third night in a row, she looked up from her phone. Her eyes glazed over like she had seen the face of God. "Dinner is temporary," she murmured. "Financial freedom is forever." I wanted to laugh, but she wasn't joking. She was dead serious. Still, I figured it was just a phase. A weird phase, but nothing worth panicking over. Until one night, I woke up at 3 a.m., feeling the cold, empty side of the bed where Karen should have been. I rubbed my eyes, groggy, confused, half thinking she had gone to the kitchen for water. But then I heard it, the soft, intimate murmuring coming from the other room. I climbed out of bed, shuffling toward the faint glow of a phone screen illuminating the living room. Karen sat on the couch, legs curled up, phone clutched tightly in her hands, eyes locked onto the screen like she was in love. The dim light flickered across her face, casting deep shadows under her eyes, her expression one of pure adoration. "Karen," I mumbled, my voice thick with sleep. She didn't even flinch. She just sighed dreamily. "He's beautiful." A chill ran down my spine. I blinked, trying to process what I was looking at. Slowly, I stepped forward, peering over her shoulder. And then I saw it. A chart. A goddamn price chart labeled Dollar Trump. She was whispering sweet nothings to a cryptocurrency. Not to me. Not to her husband of 12 years. To a token. On Solana. I felt something deeply unsettling in my gut. A mix of fear, confusion, and the horrifying realization that my wife was gone. Not physically, but mentally. She had crossed over into a realm of crypto obsession that normal people don't come back from. She finally tore her eyes from the screen and looked at me, her pupils blown wide, her breath shaky, like she had just experienced something deeply spiritual. "This is it, babe. This is the one." "The one what?" I asked, still hoping, praying. That she wasn't about to say what I thought she was about to say. She grinned. Not a normal grin. A cult member who just drank the Kool-Aid grin. "The one that will make us rich." I ran a hand over my face, exhaling slowly, trying to ground myself in reality. "Karen, it's called Dollar Trump. I feel like that alone is a red flag." She gasped, like I had just insulted her firstborn child. "You don't understand," she said breathlessly. "This isn't just a token. It's a movement." My stomach tightened. The last time I heard her say something like that, she tried to convince me that burning sage would cure my cholesterol. She turned back to her phone, scrolling through endless tweets from faceless crypto brothers screaming about mass adoption and diamond hands. My Karen, the woman who once made fun of me for buying lottery tickets, had become one of them. I tried again. "How much did you put in?" She didn't answer. "Karen." Still nothing. "Karen, how much?" "All of it." The words hit me like a freight train. I felt my soul leave my body for a full 5 seconds. "What the hell?" She beamed. "I sold our stocks, I liquidated the retirement fund, and I took out a small loan." My entire life flashed before my eyes. "A small loan? Karen, how much?" She rolled her eyes. "Only $50,000. $50,000? She waved me off, completely unbothered. "Relax. I bought in early. It's already up 8,000% in 2 days. I felt my legs give out. I sat on the couch next to her, staring at the screen, watching in real time as the candle chart shot straight up like a middle finger to my financial stability. My wife had just bet our entire life savings on a meme coin named after a former president. I thought things couldn't get worse. I was wrong. Chuck had always been an absolute idiot. Not in a harmless, goofy way, no, he was the kind of idiot who once tried to deep fry ice cubes, just to see what would happen, and ended up setting his kitchen on fire. A guy who drank expired milk for the science, and then spent 3 days in the hospital. A guy who bought a trampoline off Craigslist without realizing it was only the metal frame. And yet, somehow, despite his commitment to being the dumbest person alive, he was still my best friend. The last time I saw him, he was barely surviving. He lived in a shoebox apartment with a mattress on the floor, a fridge that only contained expired condiments, and a business idea so stupid it made me physically ill. The Uber of sandwiches. What the hell does that even mean? I had asked him. Chuck had taken a deep, proud breath. A service where you order a sandwich, and a guy delivers it. I had stared at him for a full 10 seconds. Chuck, that's just a deli. That already exists. He had blinked. Oh, *T. So when he called me the next morning, screaming like he was being attacked, my first thought was that he had somehow set himself on fire again. I nearly dropped my coffee, scrambling to put the phone on speaker. Chuck, what? Bro, I bought Trump at 0.0000000001. And now I'm a billionaire. Silence. My brain refused to process what he had just said. I blinked at the phone, waiting for the words to make sense, to arrange themselves into a logical sentence. But no, there was no logic. It was just pure, undiluted, brain-melting stupidity. Chuck, I said slowly, carefully, like I was speaking to a wild animal. Are you high? No, dude. I'm filthy rich. I heard panting, hyperventilating, the sound of furniture scraping against the floor. What the hell are you doing? I asked. Chuck giggled like a psychopath. I just licked my own floor because I can pay to replace it. My soul left my body. There was no way this was real. No way in hell. Chuck had lost every single investment he had ever made. He once put $10,000 into a cryptocurrency called Meatcoin that immediately crashed because the founders ran off with the money and opened a steakhouse in Argentina. And now, somehow, this same man had turned into a billionaire overnight? Chuck, how? I saw some random dude on Twitter say Trump was about to send. So I took my last $300, put it in, and then boom. I woke up, checked my account, and saw this. He sent me a screenshot. I opened the image, and then I nearly threw up. The number on Chuck's crypto wallet had so many zeros it looked like a glitch in the Matrix. I rubbed my eyes, blinking, refreshing the picture, but it didn't change. Somehow, this moron was now worth $1.2 billion. I sat there, staring at the screen, my heart racing, my stomach twisting, my brain completely rejecting reality. There was no universe in which this should have been possible. Chuck had once tried to buy stock in Blockbuster in 2022. He thought the moon was just a big-ass nightlight. He called every dog a wolf because he didn't understand the difference. And now he was a billionaire. Before I could even react, I heard a sharp gasp behind me. Karen. She had seen the screenshot. Her entire body stiffened, her breathing shallow, her pupils fully dilated like she had just witnessed a divine revelation. Her hands shook as she clutched her phone, her fingers tapping furiously as she started Googling Chuck's name. I saw the exact moment her brain processed the reality of what had just happened. Chuck is rich, she whispered, her voice breathless, full of something between greed and religious awe. Chuck is a billionaire. I watched, horrified, as her face transformed before my very eyes. 1 second, she was my wife. The next, she was a woman on a mission. And I knew, with absolute certainty, that my life was about to get so much worse. It happened so fast I barely had time to process it. One moment, Karen was standing in our living room, staring at Chuck's billion-dollar crypto wallet like it was the face of God. and the next, she was gone. No hesitation, no second thoughts, not even a half-hearted excuse. I walked into the kitchen, half expecting to find her sitting at the table, still doom-scrolling through her Twitter-fueled financial awakening. Instead, I found a single post-it note slapped onto the fridge, the cheap yellow paper mocking me in its simplicity. You never believed in financial freedom. I need a real man. That was it. That was her farewell message after 12 years of marriage. Not a goodbye. Not an explanation. Just a goddamn financial lecture. I stood there, gripping the edge of the counter, feeling my brain short-circuit as I reread the words over and over. It was as if the neurons in my head refused to process what had just happened. Like my wife had been body-snatched by a crypto cult in real time. I should have been angry. I should have felt devastated. But all I felt in that moment was disbelief. Then my phone buzzed. I looked down, expecting a pathetic attempt at an apology text, but instead, it was a notification from Instagram. Karen had just posted a photo. My stomach twisted as I tapped the screen, my hands already shaking before the image even loaded. And then, there she was, my wife, sitting in Chuck's brand new penthouse, wearing a dress made entirely of $100 bills. I stared. I blinked. I zoomed in. It was real. Karen had fashioned a dress out of actual cash. The crisp green bills folded and pinned together like she had sacrificed every ounce of dignity for the aesthetics of wealth. She wasn't even looking at the camera. She was too busy gazing at Chuck, her face lit up with admiration, her hand resting on his shoulder like she had just won the lottery. And in Chuck's other hand, a champagne glass bigger than my entire self-esteem. The caption beneath the image was a masterpiece of humiliation. In the arms of a visionary. HODL. Baby. She tagged Chuck. She also tagged me, just to twist the knife deeper. I nearly dropped my phone. I read the caption again, my eyes scanning each word, hoping, praying, that my brain was playing some kind of sick trick on me. But no, it was real. She wasn't just leaving me. She was making it public. She was making sure the entire world knew that she had abandoned her husband for a crypto billionaire with the IQ of an unplugged toaster. The comments were already flooding in. At CryptoKing 420, massive W for Karen. Dump the FUD babe. At HODL4Jesus, Karen understands the grind. Respect. At Solana Slayer, bro really let his wife get bought out like a low-cap token. Embarrassing. At Rich Uncle ETH, she upgraded. Stay mad. I felt actual heat rise up my neck, the kind of white-hot humiliation that makes your skin itch, the kind that makes you want to throw your entire phone into the ocean. My own wife had turned me into a meme in real time, and now, an army of faceless crypto brothers were laughing at me like I was some failed investment. I wanted to scream. I wanted to smash something, but instead I just sat down. I slumped onto one of the kitchen chairs, staring at the phone screen, trying to wrap my head around the absolute insanity of my current reality. Karen was gone. She was with Chuck. She was calling him a visionary, a man who once microwaved his phone because he thought it would charge faster. I took a deep breath, exhaling slowly, forcing myself not to lose it completely. Maybe Chuck would blow all his money in a week. Maybe Karen would realize how insane she was being and come crawling back. Maybe another ping, another notification. Karen had updated her Instagram bio. Financially free. No weak hands. Only up from here. Hashtag HODL, hashtag CryptoQueen, hashtag Chuck to the moon. I blacked out for a second. There was no coming back from this. My wife had just abandoned me for a billionaire who made his fortune by accident, and now she was cosplaying as a financial guru, posting motivational bullshit *T while draping herself in fiat currency like some kind of dollar store Cleopatra. I looked around our now empty house, the eerie silence pressing down on me, the realization finally sinking in. Karen was gone, and somehow this was only the beginning of my nightmare. Chuck's brain was never meant to handle money. It was like handing a chimpanzee a live grenade, a disaster waiting to happen. Within 24 hours of becoming a billionaire, he had already achieved a level of stupidity that defied human understanding. The first thing he did? Buy a tiger. Not a pet cat, Not a dog. Not even something semi-reasonable like a racehorse. A full-grown, 600-pound Bengal tiger. He had zero knowledge of how to care for it, zero permits, and zero concern for the fact that it was a literal apex predator. He posted a video of himself on Instagram, grinning like an absolute moron, shirtless, holding a raw steak in one hand while the tiger sat in a corner, staring at him like he was lunch. Meet my new boy, Satoshi. A true king needs a beast beside him. #alpha, #billionaire mindset, #weeballin'. 5 minutes later, he posted another update. Update: Satoshi bit me. Might need stitches. But still worth it. #no pain no gain, #HODL. That should have been the first sign that Chuck had completely lost his grip on reality. But he didn't stop there. Next, he hired a personal DJ. Not for parties. Not for events. Just to follow him everywhere and play epic beats every time he walked into a room. The guy was on payroll, wearing a full studio setup as a backpack, blasting an original Billionaire entrance theme. Every time Chuck entered a building, ordered a coffee, or took a *tea. Speaking of which, Chuck, in his infinite wisdom, built himself a golden toilet. A solid gold, custom-made, self-warming, Bluetooth-enabled toilet that he proudly called the throne of a king. He even had a plaque installed above it that read, in bold, engraved letters, "Haters will never sit here." He posted videos of himself on it. No shame, no hesitation, just sitting there, scrolling through Twitter, saying things like, "They laughed at me, but now I take my morning dump on a piece of solid gold." Who's laughing now? The answer? Everyone. Everyone was laughing at him. Except for Karen. Karen wasn't laughing. She was too busy securing her financial future, which, apparently, involved eating gold-covered sushi off a naked man's chest while live-streaming her new life to thousands of crypto brothers. The video went viral. Karen, wearing a diamond choker and oversized sunglasses indoors, leaned over a greased-up bodybuilder, delicately picking up a piece of gold leaf sushi with chopsticks while screaming, "We're going to the moon!" in the most unhinged, cult-like voice I had ever heard in my life. The worst part? The comment section was filled with guys hyping her up. At Crypto King 420, Queen Energy. She left a broke boy for a visionary. Respect. At HODL for life. This is what financial freedom looks like. Secure the bag, mama. At AlphaWolf69. Bro, your ex-wife just ascended to a different plane of existence. And then, the final knife to my already bleeding heart. Chuck commented. The future is now. #winners, only #haters stay broke. I wanted to vomit. But Chuck wasn't done ruining everything. Because somehow, he had convinced himself that being a billionaire wasn't enough. No, he needed to make even more money. And that's how he came up with the single dumbest business idea I had ever heard in my life. He launched a new crypto token. $. Trump. That was its actual name. The pitch? What if we took $Trump and made it? But even bigger? That was literally it. That was the entire business model. Just copy the thing that already existed but add mega in front of it. Chuck's logic? People love things that are bigger. McDonald's has a Big Mac. Trucks have mega engines. This is just the mega version of $Trump. I stared at him in absolute horror. You don't even understand what blockchain is, I muttered. Chuck just grinned, sunglasses perched on his stupid face, sipping from a champagne bottle like it was Gatorade. Doesn't matter. Bro, crypto is about vibes. And somehow the universe rewarded this stupidity. Because in just a few hours, $Trump exploded. People started buying it like it was the cure to poverty. The price skyrocketed 7,000% in a single afternoon. Chuck's wallet balance hit another mind-melting number. Karen was now actively referring to him as the next Satoshi. I felt like I was watching a horror movie in real life. Chuck, the man who once tried to eat an entire frozen Hot Pocket without cooking it, was now being treated like a financial genius. My ex-wife was shouting crypto slogans while licking gold off a stranger's abs. And I was sitting in my empty house, scrolling through Instagram, trying not to have an aneurysm. I thought it couldn't get worse. I was so wrong. I should have known better. I should have had the self-control to just look away, to block Karen, to shut my phone off and go outside, maybe touch some grass, maybe try to rebuild what was left of my dignity. But curiosity is a disease, and I was infected. The moment I saw the notification pop up, Karen's Instagram story updated. My brain screamed at me not to open it. My hands ignored the warning. The screen loaded, and I immediately regretted every decision I had ever made in my life. The first thing I saw was Chuck, my former best friend, my ex-wife's new crypto sugar daddy, lying on a massive pile of loose cash, sweating profusely. Not just a little sweat, not a glow. I'm talking fully drenched, dripping, absolutely glistening like a glazed ham at Christmas. His eyes half-lidded, his mouth slightly open. His shirt still on but completely unbuttoned, clinging to his body like he had just emerged from a swamp of pure stupidity. And he wasn't just lying there. No, that would have been too simple. He was covered in caviar. Caviar. Buckets of it. The expensive kind. Black, glistening, slimy fish eggs smeared across his neck, his chest, his arms, his face, the tiny beads rolling down his skin, sliding into his hair, sticking to his greasy forehead like crypto acne. He had handfuls of it, fistfuls, shoveling it into his mouth in slow motion, chewing with a disgusting, wet squelch, bits of it falling out, sticking to his already moist, sweaty skin. And then the camera panned. Karen, wearing a full-body sequin jumpsuit that looked like it was stitched together from shredded stock market tickers, rubbing herself against a Bitcoin ATM, not standing next to it, not posing with it, rubbing her body against it like a cat in heat. She was whispering to it, her cheek pressed against the cold metal screen, her hands sliding over the surface in a slow, nauseating caress. "Daddy blockchain provides," she whispered, her voice low, breathy, completely unhinged. Her fingers stroked the Bitcoin logo like it was a living, breathing entity, her eyes fluttering like she was in some kind of trance. And then the final insult, the caption. "This is what success looks like." I dropped my phone. I left the room. I tried to unsee it. I failed. I pushed the heels of my palms into my eyes, as if I could physically scrub my own retinas. My breath came out in short, uneven gasps, my heart hammering in my chest, my stomach flipping over itself like it was trying to escape my body. I had seen many horrifying things in my life. A car accident up close. A dude at a gym shower casually blow-drying his pubes. Chuck attempting to deep-throat a hot dog as a party trick. But this was something else. This was the kind of thing that would require therapy. The kind of image that burns itself into your neurons, permanently seared into your brain like a brand of pure, unfiltered trauma. I staggered back, gripping the edge of the couch for support, my knees weak, my soul desperately trying to escape my body. I needed bleach, not just for my eyes, for my entire existence. I took a deep breath, tried to reason with myself, tried to find a logical explanation for what I had just witnessed. Maybe it was a joke. Maybe it was performance art. Maybe I was hallucinating due to extreme emotional stress. But no, this was real. I picked up my phone again, against my better judgment, staring at the frozen horror of the image still plastered on the screen. The worst part? People were hyping it up. At CryptoLord69, "This is the most alpha thing I've ever seen." At HODLTO Valhalla, "If this doesn't motivate you to buy more Dollar Trump, nothing will." At MoonDaddy Elite, "This is why some of us make it and some of you stay broke. It's about the grind. It's about the mindset." At Rich Uncle BTC, "True wealth. You wouldn't understand. I wouldn't understand. I wouldn't understand?" I felt actual rage boil inside me, not just at Chuck, not just at Karen, but at the universe itself for allowing this insanity to exist. I wanted to smash my phone, drive to their penthouse, drag Karen away from that cursed Bitcoin ATM, and demand she remember she used to be a sane human being. Instead, I did the only thing I could. I closed the app. I sat there, staring at the wall, the silence of my empty house swallowing me whole. I realized something in that moment. I wasn't just angry. I wasn't just disgusted. I was ready for revenge. And it was going to be horrific. I wasn't going to sit there and cry. No, not after what I'd seen. Not after my wife abandoned me for a sweaty, caviar-covered buffoon who treated crypto like it was a religion and lay on piles of money like some sort of deranged cartoon villain. Not after I had to witness her rubbing herself against a Bitcoin ATM like it was whispering financial advice in her ear. No, I wasn't just going to move on. I was going to make Chuck regret ever taking what was mine. I was going to make Karen realize what true financial ruin looked like. And it was going to be horrific. Step 1. Destroy Chuck's credibility. Chuck, in all his moronic glory, had launched a crypto scam called Trump that was making him even richer than before. People were throwing money at him like he was some kind of genius, believing he was some crypto prophet, but I knew the truth. I knew Chuck was the same guy who once tried to lick a frozen pole in the middle of winter, just to see if it actually sticks. He was a fraud, and I was going to expose him. I hacked into Trump's website. It wasn't even hard. The password? Chuck42069. I wanted to be surprised, but honestly, I expected worse. I rerouted the entire homepage to a video of Chuck microwaving his phone. The infamous incident where he believed electricity waves would charge it faster. The video played on loop, his voice echoing over and over, "Bro, I think it's working," followed immediately by the explosion. Within minutes, the internet lost its collective mind. Crypto forums erupted, Twitter went ballistic, and news articles popped up titled, Trump creator exposed as an idiot. Investors panicked, selling off millions, tanking his coin's value overnight. The comment sections were ruthless. At Blockchain Bruh, I invested my life savings into a dude who microwaves electronics. I'm going to throw up. At Diamond Hand Denny, how did this guy make money? At Rugpull Randy, at this point, I deserve to be poor. Step 2. Public humiliation. Chuck had a brand new penthouse in the middle of the city. It was his pride and joy, a glass tower of excess and stupidity, where he sat on his golden toilet, sipping champagne, pretending he understood blockchain technology. I needed to make sure that every single person who walked past his building knew exactly what kind of moron was living in that overpriced shrine to stupidity. So I did what any rational man would do. I bought a billboard, a massive city-block-sized billboard right outside his penthouse. And on it, a blown-up, high-resolution image of his high school yearbook quote. "If I ever become rich, I will use my money to build a laser that makes me invisible." There it was, in big, bold letters, right next to his senior photo. Chuck, braces still on, a single pimple standing proudly on his forehead, staring into the camera like he knew he was destined for greatness. The reactions were instant. People stopped in the streets to take photos. The news covered it. The internet went wild. Even celebrities started posting about it, making jokes about Billionaire Chuck's invisibility laser fund. And then came the cherry on top. Step 3. Pure, unfiltered disgust. Chuck had a rooftop infinity pool. He wouldn't shut up about it. Every time he posted, it was something like, "Nothing hits better than a dip in the billionaire's oasis." I was going to ruin it. I paid a group of very eager men on Craigslist to dump 500 gallons of warm mayonnaise into his precious infinity pool. Not cold mayonnaise. Warm. Heated just enough to turn it into a thick, putrid nightmare. The moment he stepped outside, ready to take his morning billionaire swim, the entire rooftop reeked of spoiled eggs and failure. His live reaction, caught on video. Chuck, standing at the edge of his pool in silk swim trunks, sniffing the air, his face twisting in confusion, then in horror. His mouth moved, but no words came out. His eyes locked onto the thick, pale sludge where his crystal-clear water used to be. He took a step back. Another sniff. His whole body convulsed. And then he threw up. Everywhere. On his feet. On his $5,000 robe. Into the mayonnaise pool itself. It was beautiful. The video spread like wildfire. At Mayo Mogul. "I have no idea who did this, but they are a hero." At Rich Dude Fail. "Why does his pool look like a nightmare milkshake?" At Crypto Karen. I regret everything. Yes, Karen saw it. And for the first time, she didn't post some arrogant, crypto-motivational garbage. She was silent. I knew then, in that moment, my revenge was complete. Chuck had been exposed. Karen had realized she backed the wrong fool. And me? I had never felt more satisfied in my entire life. The collapse was spectacular. It started with a whisper, a ripple in the ocean of Chuck's self-inflicted stupidity, but it turned into a full-scale tsunami of disaster before he even had time to put on his ridiculous monogrammed silk robe. The first sign of trouble came when the SEC knocked on his penthouse door at 7 a.m., dragging him out of bed mid-hangover, still reeking of expensive champagne, poor financial decisions, and the faint, lingering stench of spoiled mayonnaise. Chuck, half-naked, disoriented, scratching his stomach like a confused caveman, blinked at the men in suits and said, "Sup?" Turns out, $1 Trump wasn't just a bad idea, it was an actual, full-fledged, federal crime. The SEC, the FTC, the IRS, ***, basically every three-letter agency that makes grown men cry, ***, had been watching Chuck since the moment his microwave brain scheme took off. Apparently, selling a completely useless cryptocurrency while lying about guaranteed gains is illegal. Who knew? Everyone except Chuck. His eyes widened in horror as the lead investigator flipped open a thick file, filled with screenshots of his own dumbass tweets. $1 Trump only goes up rocket, no risk. No losses. Trust the system. Selling is for beta males. Diamond hands only. 10,000% guaranteed gains. Rocket. The SEC can't stop me. LOL. That last one probably didn't help his case. Chuck, sweating through his robe, tried to explain. Bro, you guys don't understand. Crypto is about the vibe. The agents stared at him. One of them slowly took off his glasses, rubbed his temples, and muttered, Jesus Christ. That was the moment Chuck realized he was completely, irreversibly screwed. By noon, his accounts were frozen. By 3 p.m., his penthouse was being emptied out by federal agents. The golden toilet? Melted down. The solid gold pool table? Hauled away in a truck. His $2 million NFT collection? Declared financially worthless by a government analyst who laughed for a full minute while filling out the paperwork. And then the tiger, Satoshi, the only living thing in Chuck's life that had any dignity left. He had to watch, heartbroken, as animal control carefully lured his tiger back into a transport cage. Satoshi, who had been living off a ridiculous diet of Wagyu steak and Fiji water, took one last glance at Chuck before letting out a deep, judgmental sigh, as if even he knew his owner was a complete idiot. The cage clanged shut. Chuck reached out weakly. Satoshi, bro? The tiger didn't look back. Chuck had lost everything. And Karen? She did what every wannabe billionaire does when the house of cards collapses. She tried to flee to Dubai. Her plan was flawless in theory. She packed a designer suitcase, stole what little cash Chuck had hidden, and booked a first-class flight to the crypto bro capital of the world. But Karen, in her infinite brilliance, managed to sabotage herself in the most Karen way possible. She misspelled her own name on the visa application. Not by one letter. Not a small typo. She swapped her first and last name completely. She literally listed herself as Dubai Karen. And by the time she landed, authorities flagged her for suspicious documentation and deported her immediately. She didn't even get past customs. Within 24 hours, she was back home, broke, stranded, sitting in the airport with nothing but a half-eaten protein bar and the devastating realization that she had backed the wrong idiot. Desperate, she did what all washed-up, financially ruined influencers do. She launched a GoFundMe. The title? Help Me Rebuild After Betrayal Broken Heart. She wrote a long, dramatic sob story, claiming that Chuck had scammed her, that she had been manipulated into a lifestyle of luxury, that she had lost everything and just needed a second chance at life. She set the goal at $500,000. How much did she actually raise? $4.87. A single anonymous donor left a comment that said, "Buy yourself a clue. I saw the campaign and I laughed. I laughed so hard, so violently, that I actually had to sit down. This was karma in its purest form. Chuck, ruined. Karen, penniless. Their golden empire of crypto-fueled delusion had collapsed in record time, and there wasn't a single person on Earth who felt sorry for them. I had seen Chuck's penthouse rise in a single night. I had seen Karen bask in wealth like a parasite in a petri dish of stupidity. And now I had watched it all burn down. I took a deep breath, letting the satisfaction sink in. The universe had corrected itself. And for the first time in a long, long time I felt at peace. The divorce? Signed, sealed, and delivered. Karen? Blocked so hard she doesn't even exist in my digital universe. Chuck? Somewhere in Ohio, probably explaining how Trump was just ahead of its time to disinterested.